Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of r/petty revenge where we get to see the satisfying aftermath of revenge. Let's get into it. Wake me up with no remorse? I will go earlier. Backstory. I, 22M, have a twin sister, Karen, 22F, who mostly cares about herself. We both recently graduated college and still live at home with her room right across the hall from mine. Her boyfriend, John, 22M, stays over a lot of weekends and is pretty much family at this point. However, she treats him like shit and is constantly belittling him and yelling at him for stupid things. She is a teacher and he does manual labor. On Saturday morning I was woken up at 8 a.m. by Karen yelling at John. She wanted him to go to the gym with her and he wanted to sleep. This happens almost every weekend. I told her to be quiet because I was trying to sleep and also to leave him alone. She responded that she didn't care that I was trying to sleep and that it's 8 a.m. and I should be up anyways. Since she is a teacher, she is on summer break and doesn't have to catch up on sleep during the weekends. Karen ends up leaving and going to the gym without John, but not before she calls him lazy, despite the fact that he does manual labor for a living. She also thinks that she has the hardest job in the world and no one could possibly understand how hard it is. I will admit it is hard, but she uses it to diminish the work that everyone else does. Cue the revenge. It just so happens that my parents were leaving on vacation on Monday. This means that Karen and I will have to take care of our dog. Since I have to get up to go to work, I have morning duty and she has night duty. My mom is an early riser and therefore my dog goes out at 5 a.m. in the morning. I will have to get up at that time for the next week. So guess who is going to be woken up as well? Karen. And when she gets mad and yells to get out of her room, I will tell her all the things she told me when I wanted to sleep. Sweet dreams. Responded to my boss's dumb email questions and used color to low-key irritate him. My boss sent me an email on Friday asking me a bunch of questions. Some of these were okay, but most demonstrated that he hasn't paid attention to any of our conversations over the last year and that he's clueless in our field of work. I answered his questions professionally, well, as much as I usually do. I've written previously about this same guy, but he quickly came back with further questions that condensed a proof of his brain cell shortage. Helpfully, he'd taken the trouble to write his extra questions in blue, so I could spot them amongst a black text from the original message. So I wrote back in kind, but I used bright yellow. My response is completely unreadable, assuming that his screen is in light mode, without switching to plain text. Better still, I introduced my email saying I'd responded to his points in red, so I'm hoping he'll waste some time looking through his computer settings for why red isn't showing up properly. Excuse me, did you just take what I told you not to? I work at a library, and one of my tasks is dealing with donations of books. I arrange them on a cart and walk around with it between the shelves, comparing the new books with the library's ones, then deciding whether to switch them or not. I was doing this today when a woman approached the cart and started checking out the books. I told her these books are not for borrowing, and she said she was just looking, so I resumed what I was doing. After she moved, I went back to the cart and, lo and behold, one of the books was missing. It was a donated copy that I paired with the library's one to replace. I confronted her and asked if she took it, and she begrudgingly gave it back. Usually I just let people take the registered book and save the new copy for when the old one returns. But she didn't listen and lied to me, and I was being petty, so I just put it back in the cart and left. Later, though, I realized I could have let her take it, then the librarian would tell her the book wasn't registered and ask her where she got it. Maybe next time. My mom found out. It's kind of a long story, but when I got into college, as the first person in my family to make it there, my cousin decided that it was her place to tell me that I would fail out and get pregnant and have to move back in with my parents. She was a little jealous. But that's whatever. I call her a bitch. We argued and stopped talking for a while. After a while, she started messaging me asking if I have failed yet or if I was dropping out. I decided at that moment to just piss her off a bit. See, she hates clowns, not terrified or any phobias, but she hates them. So every year for the past 11 years I have picked a random day in a different month to send her a box of clown stuff, all with no return address. She has no idea. My partner has known and loves this, but my cousin is so confused on to how this keeps happening. Well, this year marks the 12th box, and I don't know if I want to continue this after or let it end. But I was talking to my mom and mentioned that it was that time again, and I forgot I never told her what I had been doing. She laughed, but thinks it was so wrong, but I'm still okay with it. He sold my birthday present, so I made him buy back his tech. This is a kind of old bit of revenge. Think when PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 were still new. And when I was learning the hard way, again, about dating total pose. BF at the time, I would learn later, was a complete turd. Absolute pose. But I had no self-esteem and he paid me compliments, so I ended up dating him. Learn quickly, girls, preferably in your early teens, compliments do not equal good guy. Anyway, he was a jerk and I was grateful. For my birthday, my parents bought me an Xbox 360, or rather, they put £150 for birthday and Christmas towards me getting said console. BF fronted the rest. It lived at his house because he had a better TV. He had given me his old PSP because he had also just bought a PS3 and it came with a lot of accessories and games. A few weeks pass and he sold this box, reminder, partly my box and a present from my folks, and bought himself a new iPhone. He had also asked for his PSP back, but his mum reminded him that it was a gift, so he backed off about it. A few weeks after that, yeah, I know, I didn't dump him the second he sold my console, but people with no self-esteem take an obscene amount of shit. I found out he was cheating on me. He worked in the Brit equivalent of GameStop at the time, so I sold his PSP and all its bits, piece by piece, to the shop he worked in. Admittedly, I didn't get much for it, but I did get to enjoy his coworkers grinning as they bought it all. He had pissed a few people off there too. I also got to enjoy knowing that it would have cost him more than £150 to get all the bits back. 9. Yes, it may have been petty, but it was satisfying. D. Husband who dumped me now pays me not to file for divorce. My husband of 25 years decided he wanted to split up. I unsuccessfully begged him to change his mind and spent a lot of nights crying on the bathroom floor. One thing to note is that I carried the health insurance for the family. He is self-employed. When he wouldn't change his mind, we filed for legal separation and he moved out. In the meantime, I got a bangin' new job that covers 100% of the health and dental insurance premiums for the entire family with a $100 deductible. Sweet. He is still allowed to be on my insurance since we are legally separated rather than divorced, and it costs me nothing to have him on my insurance. But I am petty as hell. So I charge him $400 a month for something that costs me $0. He of course is welcome to get insurance on his own in the marketplace, which would probably cost at least 2x that amount for an equivalent policy. I make sure he knows it costs me nothing, not a zip to have him on my insurance, and that his $400 month payment is funding my upcoming trip to Spain. If you have a legal separation, getting a divorce in my state is just a matter of filing a form and paying $60. If I did that, he couldn't be on my insurance anymore. So he is basically paying me $400 a month not to file for divorce after not wanting to be married anymore. I love it. Copped an earful but worth it. Hey guys, long time lurker, first time poster here. I have fixed the spelling of copped in the body of the text. For context, my wife and I love each other very much, but like every couple we can occasionally blow up over nothing really. So I run a number of small businesses as a side hustle. I keep my wife informed of pretty much every major decision. The minor routine stuff I just deal with as they are not important enough to bring up unless conversation goes that way at the dinner table. We were enjoying time together and I, as a loving husband, I informed her of this particular minor routine issue that happens all the time with the side hustle. She blew up. For what I can tell, no good reason at all. Accusing me of keeping her out of the loop. This is a 10-min job BTW. I was extraordinarily confused, especially since I had just opened up and told her about the non-issue I had dealt with. I thought she would be happy I am taking on extra responsibilities and stress so she doesn't have to deal with it. Her job is a doctor, and it's stressful enough. Needless to say, I was wrong. I'm not looking for an argument, but she just kept coming at me over it. So calmly I say, what is it you want me to do? How can you feel more included? She asks me to send her all the email communication so she can stay on top of everything mentally. Problems. Here comes the pretty revenge. I forwarded her hundreds of emails over the last couple of months. Issues I dealt with, responses from suppliers, tax accountants. Even if we already had the conversations previously, she got the emails. Every single one. Even if it was rubbish. I copped an earful the next day. To which I responded, you wanted to be informed. Petty revenge complete. A kiss and a cuddle later, we are all good, but I had some fun with it. Everyone. Thank you for watching today's episode of r/petty revenge. If you enjoyed the video, think about leaving a like and subscribe with notification bell if you haven't already. Have a good one.